saw this fair online called the Greater Kansas City Science and Engineering Fair.
Lauren and Rajitha came up to me and asked me if I would be willing to sponsor them in the science fair. I said that I would, as long as they came up with an idea that would match with the engineering field.
The one obstacle was he could not reach and get his laptop. And so I came to Mr. Oatman and asked him about what are the possibilities of making something. So that's how this started.
Mr. Oatman gave us some ideas, and one of them was to build a table for Will's wheelchair that could be moved out of the way and he'd have with him all the time. And so we took that and we came up with some different ideas.
We definitely found a problem. You know, Will needed something to put his computer laptop on. And then, so we brainstormed some ideas, and obviously a lot of this didn't work out.
The first design that we had was kind of like a shade that's on a car for like a kid that comes down and then it kind of gets tight. So we were gonna do that because it could store easily. So I have sketches of it right here. It like rolls up into this. And then if these are the arms, it pulls across. But the issue with that one was that the fabric wasn't strong enough and we couldn't find anywhere to attach on the armrest. So then we went to like a hammock, which is kind of the same thing. It clips on the side, but it has like fabric and there's like it's like a pillowcase around a piece of wood, so you just like take it off and put it under the wheelchair. But the problems were the fabric like sagged and it's hard to get to and set up. So then we went to that one and we had 2 weeks of a camera stand, so that one didn't work. But we finally figured out how to attach on the foot pedal right there, and that works really well. So that one didn't work. So then we looked at this one, which is kind of like a TV mounting system. It like bends and folds. But the problem with that one is that it's really bulky and there's nowhere to attach it. So then we went back to this one and we got a stronger camera stand, and we decided to build a support on the other side. So this is what we have over there.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add to that, the main issue with most of our ideas was because his wheelchair is a little bit different than most, we couldn't attach it here because he pushes down on it when he stands up. And we can't attach it right here or right in this area because it'll be in the way of the brake and the wheel. In the back, it wouldn't be enough like independent, so he couldn't reach it on his own. And down here was really the only option that we had.
I think the girls themselves, as far as embracing the engineering process, they have identified the problem. They brainstormed through several solutions. We have looked at several designs, concepts. We have physically taken and built 2 prototypes that are of this nature. And right now, we're about ready to get to the final test and evaluate. Table, I'm hoping, is going to be able to hold the weight at that point in time. But I think the main thing that I admire most of the girls through this process is after the second table failed, I think most groups would have said, hey, we're moving on, we're going to go to another avenue, try another approach. They were very persistent about staying with this and continuing in this direction, and as an instructor, I really admire their persistence in sticking with it.
I thought that it was cool just to like see them working on so many different stuff, and I just hoped that they would have like one final project that they worked on, and you know, they did.
It's really eye-opening to realize how much work it is to start from the beginning and have to fix a big problem, whereas like if you were doing it on a computer program, you just hit like undo or something. But we had to like start over and put a lot of time and work into it to actually get the physical product. So that was really helped us understand the process of making and designing something.
I think that if we didn't actually build some of the items or create them with some of the resources that we had, then we wouldn't have realized that, oh, that stand's not strong enough, or we need to figure out a different material for the table. And so because we built it physically, then we could test it out and make sure it actually worked. And we also had to have like a final report, which included some things like a summary, an invention description, the like documentation of originality search, so kind of showing that this is like not something that we just copied off something that we saw. A customer survey, testing, cost analysis, acknowledgments, bibliography, and we just kind of had to have all those things in our final report so that when we went to the fair we could show them.
So here's the documentation of originality. So we just kind of had to write that we looked up online, and we also called some stores and checked in some stores to make sure they didn't have anything like this. And then, so we had to search Google Patents to make sure there weren't any patents that were like this.
The main reason it was different was because we made it for Will's wheelchair, because he has like a different wheelchair than most because it's so compact. And
none of them are like motorized, so I guess you all have to, all of them you have to manually put it up.
And a lot of them, like, they were like stationary, so you couldn't actually move them out of the way. And he does get up and he walks around with a walker, and so that is not functional for what he needed and for his goals to become more independent.
so our goal was to create something for him, so like every time we failed we were like, well, we could give up, but we gotta keep like going because we promised him that we would make it for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make it a little more important of a project since it's for one of your friends?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it makes it a lot more rewarding to know that somebody is benefiting from something that we made, and that if we quit, we wouldn't have been able to help him out, and because we didn't, we can.
Cool.
And we had the opportunity to go back and fix things, whereas if in a different type of classroom, we could just, if we just had one time to do it, one chance, then we
We would have epic failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we had multiple opportunities to go back and fix it even after we had a couple of failures.
So that we could come up with a completed product that works for Will.
How does a tray like this help Will, just day-to-day stuff?
Absolute independence. He's not dependent on other people to help him with something like this. More freedom of where he can go and what he can do in a classroom. So it's a great gift they're giving him.
Flip top tabletop solutions. Don't freak out when you can flip out. It's the wheel deal.